Vice President for Student Affairs, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 41st Annual Commencement for Bastyr University. To begin, I'd like to introduce the Associate Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Dr. Lorenzana del Piano.
Good morning. Today, as we begin our commencement, we acknowledge that the lands on which Bastyr University stands and on which we hold our commencement today are the traditional, ancestral, and contemporary lands of Indigenous peoples, particularly the Coast Salish people in Seattle and Kenmore, Washington. Whose spiritual connections to these lands forms the foundations of their ways of being. We recognize and esteem the values, vast knowledge, and collective wisdom of these nations from the past and present. We honor their resiliency as we recognize the history of oppression, racism, and extreme hardship that has and continues to affect their communities. We at Bastyr University endeavor to be stewards of the lands on which the institution stands, embrace Indigenous ways of knowing through our programs and initiatives, and strive towards policies and practices that bring about justice and reconciliation. Now, we understand that land acknowledgement is only a first step in honoring the contributions of Indigenous peoples today. We ask that you take some time to learn more about the land on where you live, work, and play, and that you reflect on your engagement as we manifest these intentions as one Bastyr community. Today, we are also observing Juneteenth, known as Emancipation Day, or the Day of Freedom. While it has only been a year since its federal recognition, today marks the 157th anniversary of its commemoration in Texas, when on June 19, 1865, 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was issued by President Abraham Lincoln, the news finally reached the last stronghold of slavery, Galveston Bay, Texas, and more than 250,000 enslaved people in the state were finally declared legally free. As a commemoration of the liberation of enslaved Black people, Juneteenth is both a celebratory and somber day in which we celebrate hope, resilience, and our capacity to heal, but also take into account the terrible toll that slavery took and continues to take on this country. The recognition of Juneteenth does not mark the end of the work that needs to be done to achieve equity and justice. Far from it. The work against the legacy of slavery, the erasure of peoples, historical revisionism, white supremacy, and systemic racism persists. As members of this society, it is more critical than ever that we, individually and collectively, learn about our honest history and understand how structures of oppression and marginalization established centuries ago continue to impact our lives, and especially the lives of Black Americans. And as one Bastyr community, we must consciously and consistently center our commitment to equity and social justice in how we teach, how we learn, and how we provide healthcare to the communities we serve. Today and in the days hereafter, I invite each of you to learn more about and unpack our country's complex history. We have the responsibility now to view this national holiday as a constant impetus to work towards anti-racism and equity in our communities, and an opportunity to tell a more truthful and inclusive story that will inform our next steps in creating a just society. May this day, Juneteenth, be one of remembrance, truth, and hope. Thank you.
Representing the Bastyr University Board of Trustees, please welcome Carol Taylor.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here with you today representing the Bastyr Board of Trustees. It's a pivotal day for a lot of you here, and I want to congratulate you on all the hard work that you've done over the many years and this pinnacle of what you're now experiencing. So I want to take an opportunity to also say that, you know, this journey is not something you do completely by yourself. You have support from family, friends, and fellow classmates, obviously, to get to where you are today. And I want you to take this opportunity, if you will, to give a big hand, a big applause, hoot and holler, whatever you want to do to support, to really acknowledge the support that these folks gave to you.
It'll get better. At each commencement ceremony, we invite a graduating student to read the Founder's Prayer, which was written by Dr. Bill Mitchell. Who better to understand the ongoing gift of the founders than the students who are the beneficiaries of their vision? This year, the student chosen to represent all graduating students is Erica Putnam.
Thank you, loving Creator, for this joyous day, and for the comfort, strength, and support we get from each other. Thank you for Bastyr. Bless it, inspire it, and engulf it. In the urgent flame of the search for truth and integrity, and the epistemology of natural medicine. Thank you for the gift of life, and thank you for the nourishment and energy of this gift. Thank you for your great spirit that has motivated the people to be here today. Thank you for the opportunity that Bastyr University provides as a forum for us to serve your people, and especially those whose lives have fallen on hard times of suffering and disease. Remind us to be humble, for humility is the womb of compassion. Open our eyes, our hearts to see and appreciate the vast potential of those around us. Grant us grace to nurture and encourage each other. And more than anything else in this troubled world, remind us that love is the strongest healer and the reason for life itself.
It's now my very great pleasure to introduce to you the president of Bastyr University, Dr. Devin Britt.
Good morning. I'd like to extend a welcome to our graduating students, trustees, administration, faculty, staff, family members, friends, as well as guests. Today marks a special time in the developing careers of our graduates who have dedicated hours of time to reach this very point. Graduates, this marks the reason why we are here, to highlight your hard work and to celebrate your accomplishments at this point of your pathway. The topic of pathways is what I'd like to focus on as it relates to this next phase of your life. If we stop for a moment, please consider that a very physical pathway can be constructed in multiple ways out of different materials. Some pathways, such as a sidewalk, most often made out of concrete, are constructed with such precision that the person building it will create a foundation with dirt and potentially smaller rocks, while borders are placed on the side to ensure that when the concrete is poured, it will flow and form exactly where it is intended, leaving little room for error. I ask you today, as you consider your next pathway in life following graduation, is this the type of path you will choose as you develop your career? Are you one that will approach this next phase with such precision to ensure you have a solid foundation that has been measured, prepped, and that parameters are in place such that you reduce or even eliminate your risk of failure? Will you approach your planning in such a manner that you will leave little room for error? We also know that a concrete path is one that can crack under repeated use and adverse weather conditions over time. Will this be the type of path you choose? How will the pressures of this next phase impact your ability to withstand all that you will be faced with as you continue to learn about your profession and are exposed to repeated challenges, many of which you will never have faced before? Another type of path is one made of gravel. Now, this path is one that may require or call for the preparation of the foundation of dirt and even landscape fabric. For those who have not used landscape fabric before, it is a thick material designed to prevent the growth of weeds. However, this fabric that is designed to serve as a barrier does not always work, as weeds will grow wherever they have a chance. A gravel path does allow for movement, though. The rocks will move with each step, leaving an impression of the person who last took a step. It provides a different experience every time you take it, unlike a concrete sidewalk in and of itself. Does a gravel path represent the pathway you will choose? Are you one that will approach this next phase with the intent of experiencing a slightly or moderately different experience every time you move through the daily rigors of your job, position, or career? Will you stop to take a few moments to understand the information shared with you by coworkers, supervisors, or supervisees? Will you take the time to understand how the uniqueness of the information you are receiving has the ability to increase your skill level, competence, social awareness of the environment in which you are working, such that you become an even more skilled person in the discipline that you have chosen? How will you deal with the weeds, or put another way, the distractions and disruptors that are able to slow your progress, distract you from your goals, or impact your performance that threaten to diminish or block your accomplishments? Will you choose to take the necessary steps to get rid of these distractions and impediments to ensure your success by remaining flexible? There are times you will be able to plan, calculate, and hopefully prevent distractions, which is always a desired approach, that it takes less time and is more manageable. At other times, you will be unable to anticipate these distractions and will just need to be ready to handle them as they occur. You will need to have the ability to flex or to adjust the way in which you see the solution to the issues facing you in these moments. Similarly, a gravel path does allow for adjustments with each step you take. A third and final pathway I would like to highlight is one made of grass. This pathway is one that exists, yet is developed not always from what is constructed, but from the route others have taken. The way it becomes defined is by noticing the steps others have taken as it becomes worn from the broken blades of grass and discoloration as the grass turns a lighter shade of green or even brown. Typically, there's no prep work taken to create a grass pathway as it develops out of necessity and opportunity. It can also allow for a wider route. Some people who walk closer to the edges, which represents newer opportunities in life or the path that is less traveled. Is a grass path the path you will choose? Are you one that will approach this next phase of your career with the intent of arriving to treat a new patient, client, or project in such a way that you see the opportunity in front of you as one that is not already defined? Are you willing to engage the process of your work in such a manner that you are willing to see the opportunity you have been provided as the chance to take the typical path, the one that has been worn, which may be appropriate given the circumstances that exist? Or are you one that will see how you might be able to chart a different pathway that has not yet been attempted, as evidenced by the lack of worn or dying grass in prior footsteps? Your pathways are important as you transition into a phase of your career in life, when you will have increasing responsibility, pressures, as well as opportunities. You are now faced with a chance to impact the lives of others based on your newly acquired skills and knowledge, and others who will entrust you with their lives or significant decisions impacting their own lives. How will you respond to this opportunity? Will you demonstrate a stable, well-formed, and solid foundation, as is evidenced by a concrete sidewalk, one that can and does crack in situations as a result of its inability to flex with changing circumstances? Will you demonstrate the ability to flex during times of multiple demands on your time and priorities, along with the uncertainty of challenges that arise, such as that evidenced by a gravel path? Will you travel in the direction others have taken, yet envision opportunities others have not seen or taken, as can be evidenced with a grass path, or better yet, a grassy field that is open and ready for creativity, exploration, and new ways of thinking? I have a few quotes I'd like to share with you that I feel are relevant to the topics discussed. The first of which is, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Mahatma Gandhi. 2, I don't always know where this life is going. I can't see the end of the road, but here's the great part. Courage is not about knowing the path. It is about taking the first step. Kate Davis. Number 3, how others treat me is their path. How I react is mine. Wayne Dyer. Life teaches us that we don't always know what to expect or when we will have an opportunity to act. Graduates, for you, this time is now. Carry the responsibility forth based on the trust that is being placed in you to make a positive and significant impact on the lives of others. Each and every client, patient, colleague, supervisor, and supervisee deserves the very best from you every day, every shift, every project, every question or inquiry. Your family and friends also deserve a level of dedication and appreciation for the sacrifices and support they have given to you over these years and will give to support your continued pursuit of your dreams. Perhaps most importantly, you deserve to give yourself the self-care, attention, space, and time it takes to develop into a professional that is more than just adequate. I have a firm belief that none of us are meant to just exist. We are meant to thrive and excel. I imagine that is why you took this part of your journey with Bastyr University, and that is why you have been taught by, come in contact with, or been mentored by others who have given to you. Use this next phase of your life to do more than you ever have before, and in a way that will impact lives in a positive way. Inspire others, but most importantly, inspire yourself to be more than sufficient or adequate. Each path I mentioned today, the concrete sidewalk, the gravel path, and the grassy path, have an expressed purpose and benefit in different situations, meaning that one is not always superior to another in all situations, nor is it meant to be. The key is understanding which path to use for the required situation, or even better, create the path. In closing, I encourage you to be a catalyst, be exceptional, be the change, be the path that allows you to fulfill your goals and inspire others to do the same. I wish you well as you embark on this next phase of your career and personal lives. Congratulations and thank you. At this point, I am excited to introduce our principal speaker, Kathleen Putnam, class of 2000. Kathleen is a registered dietitian, certified end-of-life coach, certified death doula, educator, and consultant. She has over 25 years of experience treating disease and helping clients overcome food and eating issues. Kathleen is an expert in the relationship between trauma and food and body struggles. Also a parent and grief coach, Kathleen offers a compassionate approach toward healing. She focuses on empowering individuals and families to create balanced, healthy relationships with food and their bodies. Kathleen is quoted as stating, "As an end-of-life doula and coach, I offer loving guidance through the decision-making process at the end of life and the roller coaster ride of grief as well as loss. I've been inspired by my personal experience navigating compassionate care and providing a home and space to family members dying. I offer end-of-life planning, respite, companionship, legacy, end-of-life celebration, planning, and eulogy craftsmanship, grief coaching, caregiver self-care support, and educational coaching offerings are available as well. Throughout my career as an educator, coach, and healthcare provider, I've been committed to providing compassionate care and trauma-informed practices meeting each client where they are at. I'm part of the Gentle Passage Doula Collective, a holding space consultant, Sacred Passage end-of-life doula, and certified end-of-life grief coach, bringing the art of holding space, safe guidance, and compassionate decision-making to my work. I'm trained in mindfulness, self-compassion, and trauma-informed practices. At the end of life, ensuring respect and dignity by offering compassionate as well as peaceful dialogue about what is most important is core to my work as a doula. I offer guidance aligning with the wishes and hopes of those dying with the ultimate goal of fostering a calm and peaceful death experience. Please join me in welcoming her.
Thank you for having me. Congratulations, amazing class of 2022. And to my esteemed colleagues, my fellow alum, the loving families and supporters that all held this class up through one of the most profound benchmarks in life, earning a degree in higher ed. Welcome to the ever-growing family of the Bastyr alum. As you heard, I'm from the class 2000, which by the way used to sound super cool and space agey at the time. Now it's rapidly feeling like ancient history. I like to refer to it as the vintage class. I'm thrilled to be speaking to you and honoring you in the tradition and sacred ritual of the graduation ceremony. A wonderful opportunity to practice what we preach, to take the time and pause, reflect, witness, be witnessed, acknowledge, be acknowledged, and celebrate with the Bastyr community and wow, surrounded by such beauty and ambiance. A tradition of many that helps our culture ground itself, integrate the hard work, the efforts, and the spirit that goes into earning a degree, and celebrating a launch into the world with fresh, curious minds, chomping at the bit to transform and meet the demands of the challenges of our healing professions. New Bastyr alumni, you have lived through a time of training, education, and service that has required the most global adaptation, flexibility, and resilience that at least I've ever experienced in my lifetime. As I see it, you are more than prepared and equipped and adapting to the needs that arise as a result of the pandemic and responding to the needs of patients while learning how to tend to yourself, a community, and progress to the successful completion of your degree today. My take-home messages today are trust yourself, stay open to your opportunities, and learn and grow alongside your patients, and heed the wisdom of those who've gone before you. I'll begin with a quote from the beloved Maya Angelou. People forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. To me, this means putting your ear to the ground, listening to your patients, following your intuition, feeling the tension in yourself when you know something's not right, something's a little off, then give yourself permission to say it, follow it, and try something new. In 2020, the Journal of the American Medical Association reported that over 80% of us lie to our physicians. 80%. I see you knowingly sitting in your chair going, well, yeah, tell my physician that. What do we lie about? We lie about how much we exercise, how much we eat, how much we drink, what recreational drugs we're using, and if we're following the prescribed medications. Anything to avoid the pain of shame. My passion is fueled by the known repercussions of that our society is suffering from as a result of not receiving the care that's needed due to stigma. Trauma always results in shame, and the antidote to shame is compassion, self-compassion. So join me in this challenge of bringing that 80% number down by being trauma sensitive, so that we can stop the stigma and shame. What we've learned from the epigenetics and the adverse childhood events and chronic stress is that the unhealthy dietary habits, the chronic disease, and poor health outcomes may actually be a result of those adverse experiences, the trauma, and not individual choices. No wonder what Dr. Peter Levine said, trauma is perhaps the most avoided, ignored, belittled, denied, misunderstood, and untreated cause of human suffering. It rings true. So what do? We provide a safe place and find out what our patients are experiencing. We allow the agenda to be theirs and address their concerns first. We offer choices and not automated recommendations, giving them autonomy, collaborating with patients like you would on any team, and empower them, and always being a trusted resource. As I look back as a dietetic intern at the University of New Mexico, I realized that's where the parallel process of learning alongside my patients began. I was assigned a busy caseload, and I was scared and a little overwhelmed. The man at the top of my list had AIDS and was high risk for also having TB and needed nutritional attention right away. I remembered the way that my heart ached after reviewing the chart and the instructions that said his diagnosis of having AIDS was not to be discussed with any visitor or shared with any family member who asked or may be present in the room with him. I wondered what it might be like being alone, waiting in the room to receive care, only interacting with staff who had masks on their faces, and being alienated from your family because of your lifestyle choices, and while also facing, at the time, an almost surely deadly diagnosis. The huge signs on the patient's door read, high risk TB, masks required upon entering. I was really scared to meet my first potentially dying patient. When I walked in, I met the most warm, delightful, handsome man, eagerly awaiting my instructions so he could gain his strength back. And when I left, he thanked me profusely for my time and helping let him know how wonderful it was for him to have a visitor that day. The next day, I saw him in the hallway. Now it was his face that was masked, and he joyfully waved me over to show off his revived strength, and he was glad to see my full smile revealed. On the way home, I realized my perspective of my own life has changed, about my own loneliness being far away from home in my year-long internship, and what had been weighing on my mind earlier in that day. By the way, there's no anti-masking message in here, this story, but it was profound how distancing at the time it felt when entering the room. Reflecting back, I'm grateful to have met a fellow Bastyr grad who encouraged me to open a nutrition practice, now 25 years old and going strong. We took advantage of an eating disorder program closing in Swedish Ballard, the opportunity to work with Dean Ornish, and later become consultants where we'd open our own office space and provide a comfortable place to meet patients. Resilience is always a part of the equation in life and healthcare. We too faced tough times together, once realizing we had to shut down so that my business partner could leave the country because her father had died, and that I could take leave to give birth to my child. Turns out the business was resilient, and we bounced back and continued to grow. I will take pause here to note we did, however, make some mistakes perhaps along passing up opportunities that came our way. I remember the humbling time when we decided to pass up being spokespeople for a company who wanted to fly us to New York City and promote bottled water. What? Bottled water? Who would want to drink bottled water when you can get it out of your tap? The humbling part came a few years later when I realized the company was this little outfit called Vitamin Water. And so one can pause and wonder, where would I be now? I could have met and befriended 50 Cent. However, later we were asked to develop and produce a nutrition bar. And this time we went for it, and the zinc bars were born. Embrace the fun and surprise that comes your way. Like the time I received a voicemail from a friend who said, "Do you know you are on a billboard, like a life-size you on a billboard on Aurora?" Unbeknownst to me, a photo that had been taken from an insurance company to promote an online service, the question and answers that I had hosted as a nutrition expert for their subscribers, apparently became more than the Sunday advertisement in the newspaper. And enjoy the way life seems to circle back around. In a fun turn of events, I took a hiatus from my business and decided to join a team in a startup nutrigenomics company. Like full circle, my past business partner became my boss of sorts, the director of coaching. I recall a life-changing discussion I had with a client whose husband had recently died. She didn't know that I'd just returned from my own father's funeral. In the depths of her grief, she let me know there was a huge gap in the coaching we offered. If we are blessed long enough to live long enough, we are going to lose our loved ones. And there's not enough kale, fitness, or medications in the world to prevent us from dying. Well, I promise you, this was not on my coaching agenda that day. And again, the pain in my own loss, collided with my patients. I honestly had been asking similar questions myself. I stopped and asked what her husband was like. At the end of the conversation, she had a plan how she was going to connect with others, keep her grief at the top priority, and she may or may not want to return to coaching again. When that same company shut down, I decided to follow my heart, return to my private practice, and expand my services as a death doula, a grief coach, and end-of-life celebrant. Some of the most sage advice comes from those approaching death and dying, and I'll share some with you now. Be true to yourself first. Avoid overworking. Express your feelings. Stay in touch with one another, and allow yourself fun, laughter, and enjoyment. Appreciate your health. Open that business that you've always wanted. Seize the opportunities and enjoy the ride. In the end, what matters most is how well we have loved and how well we've been loved. To be forgiven and to ask for forgiveness. Be thankful and receive gratitude when it comes your way. And have a good goodbye upon every departure. These are really, truly the things that matter in the end. Today, it's been my honor and privilege to be with you. And once again, congratulations. Here's to an epic time to be educated, and an even more epic time to launch into a career in a world that's never needed your services more, your heart, your compassion, and adaptation to meeting the needs of the 21st century. I'm thrilled to know you are out there. You are joining myself and others who are eager to meet you, work in tandem with you, and hold one another up while moving through that parallel process of learning and growing alongside our patients. Take your chances and seize the opportunities that they come your way. Trust yourself, embrace the joy and the ability to be here now, and join me in that challenge of being trauma sensitive to our patients in need, putting the agenda aside to end the stigma and shame. Take good care of yourself, and remember in the end, to paraphrase Maya Angelou, it's not what you do or say, it's how you make your patients feel. Thank you.
Each year, graduating students select a peer to speak for them. Today, representing the baccalaureate students is Anya Hansen.
Good morning. On behalf of my fellow graduates, I would like to thank all the family, friends that became family, faculty, and staff gathered here today. We wouldn't be standing here without you. Our support systems, our sanity checkers, our mentors to push us towards our full potential. So on behalf of my fellow students, thank you all for your support. To my fellow graduates, health psychology majors, nutrition majors, integrated human biology majors, my fellow Irbies, congratulations. Class of 2022, we did it. Before I begin, I want you all to close your eyes. Breathe in, breathe out. I want you all to picture what you consider to be the beginning of your undergraduate journey, whether that was 2 years, 5 years, or even 10 years ago. Visualize the steps that brought you here, the faces along the way, the many challenges and obstacles you overcame. Reflect on where you started to where you are now. Now open your eyes. Very early on at my time at Bastyr, someone asked me who were the herbalists or herbal resources that inspired me and brought me here, and listed a slew of what I now know are big name herbalists. And I just remember being at a loss for words. I had never heard of any of them. I'm just here because I like plants and I've made a few medicines. I remember thinking that if I really wanted to be serious about being an herbalist, then I had a lot of catching up to do. In the herbal sciences program, we were told in early classes that we could lead professional herb walks. And honestly, knowing so little of the native plants in this area, that some days seemed so far away and almost unobtainable. But we got there, class of 2022, slowly and steadily, at a pace where progress is almost imperceptible. When the ocean surrounding you all looks the same, it can be difficult to gauge the distance traveled. When we're encircled by like-minded individuals, all learning and growing alongside us, it's not always easy to recognize our own education strides. Class of 2022, we have gained so much and come so far. I hope you've had conversations with those outside the Bastyr bubble to realize that what we hold as basic knowledge amongst ourselves doesn't extend as far as we may think. That food can be medicine, that sleep is imperative to good mental health, or that health can or even should encompass more than just body, but mind and spirit as well. Isn't that widely recognized outside the magical forest where we attended school? The beauty of us here today is that as we go forth and disperse, we begin to extend new little bubbles of what holistic health can look like. This is commencement. This is beginning. This is the new chapter we worked so hard to achieve. Regardless of where we go from here, the growing doesn't end. We're still moving along at an almost imperceptible pace. This place, this season, has sown seeds that we will continue to reap for the rest of our lives. And my hope for all of us going forward is that when we look back on today, 2 years, 5 years, and 10 years down the road, we will have traveled leaps and bounds from the people we are today. Class of 2022, our journeys these past few years have not been easy. To graduate in 2022 is to exude tenacity and adaptability. Be proud of your accomplishments and be proud of when you accomplished them. We are a resilient group. We found ways to cope with stress and form community when our usual routes were restricted. Some of us adopted like 10 animals. Others of us developed new hobbies. In any case, we didn't just endure, we found ways to thrive. To those of you who supported my baking habits, you got me through. To those of you who jumped into Lake Washington with me in the dead of winter, you kept me sane. To those of you who went the extra mile to open doors and opportunities for students during this time, you kept the fire in our eyes. Individually, we are strong, yes, but we are far stronger as a whole. Let's celebrate our accomplishments together, extend gratitude where it is due, and blaze forward on our next adventures. Congratulations once again, class of 2022. It has been an honor and a privilege to grow alongside you. Thank you.
You ready? Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree please rise? President Byrd, those who stand before you have pursued a course of study for the Bachelor's of Science degree. Upon completion of their study, the faculty recommends and the registrar confirms that they are now eligible to have their degrees conferred upon them.
My name is Dr. Dan Rosen. I'm the chair of the Department of Counseling and Health Psychology, and I am pleased to read the names of the graduates receiving their Bachelor of Science degree with a major in health psychology. Felicity Bidwell. Jasmine Camila Bocanegra. Jamie Amanda Boyd. Nicholas Hampton. Crystal Tran.
Hello, my name is Dr. Jen Daisy, and I'm proud to read the names of the graduates receiving their Bachelor of Science degree with a major in herbal science. Gurpreet K. Buttar.
Rebecca Rashid Afterman. I'm proud to read the name of the graduate receiving a Bachelor of Science degree with a major in integrated human biology. Brandon R. Jardin.
My name is Kelly Morrow, and it is my pleasure to read the names of our graduates receiving their Bachelor of Science degree in nutrition with the following majors. So first is our Bachelor of Science in Nutrition. We have Brianne Blankenship. Next, we have our students receiving their Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Culinary Arts. We have Emma Buckley. So the last three, Tiara Faraday, Jordan Ilstad, and Erica Hartlow, actually were receiving their Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Exercise Science.
This is the fun part. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of the university and the state of Washington, I hereby confer upon you the bachelor's degree to which you are entitled with all the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining. Guests, I am proud to present the 2022 baccalaureate class of Bastyr University. Please move your tassels from the right to the left.
next graduating student speaker representing the master's degree students is Simone Bullinger.
Hello. Happy day after Juneteenth, everybody. I am Simone Catherine Bullinger, and I am a person residing upon unceded Coast Salish and Duwamish lands. I did visioning for this speech in a questioning state. How can I effectively communicate and discern the feeling and the truth of my cohort mates, of people who have become my friends, of my colleagues? But maybe that's not my responsibility, or maybe it is. How can one verbally serve justice to a collective experience that at times didn't feel collective at all? How does one speak on behalf of the majority? Oh, that's right. We don't, we can't, and maybe we shouldn't. This experience has been trying and traumatic, liberating, emboldening, enlightening, and exhausting in ways I believe none of us could have imagined. Completed grad school? Check. And who lived through a global pandemic? Oh, that's right, we did. But some of us, and some of ours, didn't. Some of us fought our way through this demanding experience, grieving, isolated, sick, fighting with our bodies, our souls, our minds to try and find a sticking point. You know that point where it sticks and anchored, that likely didn't exist. Because there is no map for this. No blueprint, no words of wisdom, no handbook titled, how do you navigate healing when the world falls apart? No quick fix. Many of us often looked at each other like, are we still doing this? Yeah, we doing this. And out of self-preservation, some of us didn't. And that's okay. But for those of us who chose to stay, we held one another up. We gave freely of ourselves when we could, each bringing unique spiritual and intellectual resources to this collective table. Were there fights? Sure. Differences? Yes. Strife? Indefinitely. But when one of us was suffering, there was always someone to offer grace, compassion, and the relief that we needed so desperately. Because grace is a gift. And it's also a practice. And that's what we've learned here ultimately now, isn't it? An accountability to power. I will say that again, an accountability to power. One of the most powerful lessons. And at whatever capacity we have committed our lives to healing-centered engagement, to endeavoring to embody social justice frameworks. And the relationships that we have fostered here will work, because the energy of the universe arcs in our favor. And as we embark into this work, it will work for our communities, we declare it. It will work for our tribes, work for the greater good, and hopefully along the way, we will improve some lives. But who knows, right? After all of it, I just want to acknowledge that this was hard as shit. And for those of us who continue going to college, however antiquated, well, more power to us. And maybe not all of us identify with the wounded healer trope, but for my fellow therapists, I know we aren't ethically supposed to say crazy in quotes, but it takes one to know one, right? And that goes for all of us. So peace, love, and light to my beloved colleagues. May you go into the world and flow into your calling and spread stardust and healing to those who crave peace and belonging.
master's degree, please rise. Sort of like one big wedding, isn't it? It's great. President Byrd, those who stand before you have pursued a course of study toward the Masters of Arts or the Masters of Science degree. Upon completion of their study, you are done, right? Your faculty recommends and the registrar confirms that they are eligible to have their degrees confirmed upon them.
I'm the Director of Financial Aid at Bastyr University, and I am very proud to read the names of the students receiving master's degrees this afternoon. Dr. Dan Rosen will hood the graduates receiving a Master's of Arts degree in Counseling Psychology. President Byrd will hand the graduates their folders. Mika Barclay. Joyce Benezra. Simone Catherine Bollinger. James Elsie. Khadija Tahira Ewald. Brittany D. Gadd. Allison Gusher. Lindsay Patricia Markman Hammerly. Jennifer Jahan. Catherine Links. Zakia Ovington. Natalie Catherine Temple. Jessica T.D. Dylan Olivia Tizon. Alexandria Victoria Valine. Olivia Ann Webster. Matthew J. Zell. The next 5 graduates are dual degree students, Masters of Arts in Counseling Psychology and Masters of Science in Nutrition. Shannon Flanagan. Singer Saul Hayes. Alexandrina A. Patty. Larissa Severson. Aiden Zuckerman. Tanya Taiwo will put the graduates receiving a Master's of Arts in Maternal Child Health Systems. Sarah May Davis. Faiza Abukar Farouli. Riani Camilla George. Sydney Noel Jones. Erica Michelle Freeman McAfee. Jolena R. Walker. Dr. Robin Finn will now hood the graduates receiving a Master of Public Health. Christina Nicole Davis. Dr. Angela Zing, Chair of the Department of Acupuncture and East Asian Medicine, will hood the graduates receiving a Master of Science degree in Acupuncture and a Master of Science degrees in Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine. Yoon Chi Choi. Alexis Diane Lamore. Paige Margaret Massaro. Saloya Sakuraku. Patricia Gail Secchi. Tanya E.K. Storm. Shane Valentine. Sharon E. Velez Valle. Elaine Fu. Sabrina Cowell. Tai Ho Kim. Lu Liu. Sean Hui Shi. Wendy Gordon, Chair of the Midwifery Department, will hood the graduates receiving a Master's of Science degree in midwifery. Nicole Hampton. Haley Grace. Sky Venice Jesper. Sarah Marie Keitha. Nana Muharjan. Ronan Schmarr. Kelly Morrow will hood the graduate receiving a Master's of Science degree in Nutrition for Wellness. Natalie Jean Stewart. Kelly Morrow will also hood the graduates receiving a Master's of Science degree in Nutrition with the Dietetic Program in Dietetics. Molly Francis Campbell. Chelsea Carpentier. Lindsay Ann Davis. Emily Econger. Shauna Stegali Farahani.
Shanas, will you marry me?
Julie Suzanne Harvey. Aviva Katz. Ashlyn Kellipan. Lorianne Lavoie. Kristen Oxley. Sarah Lynn Parsons. Daisy Penman. Natalie R. Rosenbaum. Kirsten Marie Reinhold Springfield. Tamsin Marie Steele. Delaney Rose Stuck.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of the university and the state of Washington, I hereby confer upon you the master's degree to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges thereunto pertaining. Guests, I am proud to present the 2022 graduate class of Bastyr University.
Just a couple of things before we finish today. Guests, please stay seated until the faculty and graduates have left the auditorium, and then you'll be able to meet your new graduates out in the lobby area. At this time, I'd like to take a few moments to offer thanks to the graduates, should I have said please meet your sophomores? Am I now to have to wait for that? To the graduates, thank you for the hard work you have put in and the joyous work you have ahead of you as you transform the health and well-being of the human community. Thank you to the dedicated staff of Bastyr who work every day to support the students in their educational pursuits. Finally, but most importantly, we take this time to acknowledge our excellent faculty. Members of the faculty, please rise to receive the appreciation of your newest colleagues.